It's time for JUCO Jam, presented to you by Dream Big Athletics, hosted by Tad Slowick, an exciting new podcast bringing you all the great action from JUCO baseball. Here you'll find weekly updates from around the country, highlighting the teams, players, and coaches who impact the game at the junior college level. Everything you want to learn about JUCO baseball can be found here and on our website at dreambigathletics.com. There you'll find our weekly team rankings, the top player rankings headed into the spring, and all the news of what is happening in the game at the junior college level. On this show, you will have many guests, coaches, players who will give us insight on the day-to-day, behind-the-scenes working of junior college baseball. And now our host, Tad Slowick.
Welcome, baseball fans, to another episode of the JUCO Jam Baseball Podcast, brought to you by Dream Big Athletics. I'm your host, Tad Slowick, and I'm here with my good friend, Lou Temple. Lou, how you doing today?
Ooh-wee, fishing's fine, Tad. I should ask you how you're doing, road warrior. My gosh, you're just coming off a big old road trip.
Oh, yeah, big road trip. I mean, talk about old school. Sitting there, drove 5,000 miles this past week.
That's crazy.
That's pretty crazy to see JUCO baseball, but I love it. I love the road. I like going to watch the games, the anticipation. Granted, the trip through West Texas got a little long, but it was good. Went down to Phoenix and saw the number one team in the country, Central Arizona. I went to Texas, saw the number one team, Division II, LSU Eunice, and I saw in Dallas the number two team at Division III level. That's Eastfield. So
you were hunting for the high rankers, man. You found that, and that just goes to show you that there are 5,000 miles of junior college baseball being played. And that West Texas, I hope you had some audiobooks with you.
Oh yeah, I had to have the good music going for that
radio.
For that one,
yeah, it used to be your cassette tapes. You'd wear those out both sides, and I know I talked to you a few times on the road. What talk to us a little bit about you're on the road and you're trying to get to games, but you're scheduled out, so you have some time. You can't really force it to get there any faster. You got to be safe on the road. You got to take your, gas stops, and I'm sure you eat at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole nother nature being on the road, and it's good time to gather your thoughts too. Had a lot of time to think about, the players I saw and the players I was going to see, and just a lot about ways of seeing more JUCO baseball and, seeing it played at a high level like it has been.
Again, admittedly, I mean, you've done every aspect of scouting that there is. And so you've been in a position where you've literally flown in, rented a car, got to the ballpark, saw what you needed to see, gone back to the airport, dropped the rental car off, and right. Off to the next game, even in a different time zone, maybe. But this is the old school way that scouting was originated, where you're like a salesman. You're putting in the miles, and
right.
I mean, tell me what you think the benefits of kind of driving is, I guess.
Yeah, and like I said, it's just getting your thoughts. After you see a game, you get on the road and you kind of going over what you saw in the game, and guys you really liked, and the things that they can do. You could break down players yourself in your mind on those road trips, and just a lot of good thought process, a lot of good thoughts about ways of doing things better, and it's a good time to be in touch with things. So
I think also, like you say, there's a peacefulness or relax. You're going to get to a hotel at a certain period of time and shut it down. Whereas sometimes going to the airport, just the whole stress of dropping the rental car off and catching the flight and going through, security,
yeah,
and trying to upgrade on your flight, all of that sometimes can be as tiresome as driving 6 hours on the
Yeah,
road.
I mean, yeah, and then you're at the mercy of the airlines. The thought process. I remember one time when I was a national cross checker, I woke up in Lubbock, Texas. I flew through Dallas to get out to LA for an afternoon game. I saw an afternoon game in LA. Then I flew up to San Jose for a night game. And after that night game up in San Jose, I had to fly to Las Vegas later that night because they had an 8 o'clock start the next morning.
Oh
So
my gosh.
I was on four planes, and they all had to take off at the right time and be there for me. So it worked out good that time. But there's times when you get backed up and those airports get a little crazy. So, like you said, it's a little bit easier to get in the car, you're on your own pace and everything. You know how much time it takes to get to a certain spot. And so, there's a peacefulness about it too. And people always said, the best job in scouting is the area guy. And, he's on the ground and knows everything about where he's going. So
Yeah,
it's
and
good stuff.
he knows every good restaurant in between,
Right.
and so
Right.
and where the cheapest gas is. That's the truth. Well, speaking of cheap gas, you started in the Midwest, but you ended up your Arizona. I mean, you caught a game. You caught a game out of your state before you left, but you ended up.
Yeah, we went. I was at Iowa. I watched Iowa Central and Indian Hills play game, and on the way to that game, it was snowing, and
Crazy.
the farm fields around me were snow covered. And I go, oh man, I'm good. First day out, I'm going to get shut down, and then all of a sudden the skies just parted, and it was this beautiful turf field when the sun was out, and I got to see some good baseball right off the jump, and then had to get in for that long ride out to Arizona, and got to see great baseball out there too. So
Well,
I got to tell you, I didn't miss the weather. The weather was much better where I was headed.
yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. Well, people ask, well, why did you drive? And to in order, sometimes that's the only way you can make this schedule work. The
Right,
airlines aren't always a schedule that is convenient to games. So
right, exactly. And sometimes it costs you an arm and a leg too.
yeah,
So
so here we are. You're 5,000 miles in, and we're in Arizona, and you saw great baseball, obviously.
yeah, I mean, I got to see Central Arizona and top ranked team, Division One, and then got to see South Mountain too, is a highly ranked team. They got some real good pitchers there too, so I got to see them. And the one thing that I really came away with on this trip is how good the defense has been this year in junior college baseball. I mean, these kids are throwing the leather around and really picking it. I mean, it started with in Central Arizona with that Luke Thiel
Yeah,
playing shortstop. He might be the best defender at the shortstop in junior college baseball right now. Very dependable. He's got
wow,
all the tools to play the position. And,
yeah.
as we see here, I mean, he goes in the hole again and comes up with plenty of arms. So he's doing nothing but making all the plays. He can swing the bat too. So
He's a
real
loose,
good stuff.
long, loose, lanky guy, Tad.
Yeah, he's just athletic. Yeah, he's a very
Yeah,
live body guy.
yeah,
Live body guy. He's got those quick twitch muscles. He gets that first step quickness. It's almost like he knows where the ball's going before it comes off the bat. He's got good instincts and he might be, like I said, might be the top defender I've seen at
and we're
shortstop all
talking
year. So
about defenses that are set up straight up. We're not talking about shift defenses or
oh
anything.
yeah, there's very little shifting. I mean, every once in a while I run into where I see a shift, but the kids are learning to play their positions properly and learning to make the routine plays. And that's what too I appreciate also here. It's not only the fact that these kids are making some great plays, but they're making the routine play consistent. And the games are cleaner, the pitchers are throwing strikes. That's the one thing I really, like I said, came away with on this trip, and especially when I look back at my all that time to think on the road. I think about my spring journey so far, and been quality baseball. Not a bundle of errors and stuff. It's been just good, clean games and played by good athletes. So it's been a lot of fun.
Well, I don't think that's ever changed in baseball since the very beginning. Is pitching and defense get you wins, and obviously that's the formula for Central Arizona this year.
Yeah, all these good teams that I saw: Central Arizona, LSU, Eunice, Eastfield, Heartland. All these good clubs are pitching and playing defense, and that's the name of the game. Offense is sexy and stuff, but defense and pitching gets you those W's.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, because we don't always talk up the defenses, but clearly that's how you win baseball games. Now, I happen to know, because I spoke to you on the telephone, you were pulling out of Arizona on your way to Texas, and you blew a tire. Is that right?
Yeah. I was actually, my girls were visiting out in Arizona. I was on the way to the airport, and I was 15 minutes. I drive 2,000 miles, and I'm 15 minutes from the airport, and I end up blowing a tire out. But got it fixed, and not too long of a time, and just a minor setback. Nothing major.
Let's give a shameless plug to the tire manufacturer that came through with the wheel that kept you going.
Bridgestone. I went to a Firestone dealer and got a Bridgestone tire. So
there we go.
Shout out to Bridgestone.
Shout out to Bridgestone, and I'm looking forward to them being a sponsor.
That's the kind of golf balls I use too. I use those Bridgestone golf balls too, as you can see my clubs in the background here.
Yeah.
But I'll hopefully get to use those soon. But,
I noticed those.
We like Bridgestone.
Those haven't moved, so you didn't take those with you.
No.
Dang.
No, man. Baseball and golf are a good combination, but when you're trying to get work done, sometimes there's no time for golf. So,
well, let's get
better
you
when I'm
Texas.
playing.
Let's get you into Texas. Where did you end up, and who'd you see?
Oh, we went to Blinn and Alvin. And here's both these teams, Alvin and Blinn, have both taken down San Jack this year so far. And that's saying a lot. And Alvin always seems to get hot this time of year. The game was at Blinn, and what a beautiful complex they have.
Gorgeous, yeah.
Blinn's got that beautiful stadium, and they've had it for a while. And,
it's really nice.
Great place
this time
of
year with the Blue Bonnets, Brenham's a really great place to be.
Absolutely. A real nice place. The Blue Bonnets, you called it. So. But, so now I got this matchup of these two teams fighting for the top of the conference here. And, a very spirited game, to say the least. So it started out real good. Blinn threw out a really good, strong pitcher, Shane Connell, 6'3", 220. He's 90-93 with good life on his ball and a real sharp slider. He's punched out 5 guys in the first 2 innings and stuff, and was really rolling. But Alvin is just a scrappy bunch of team. These guys are grinders, and they ended up grinding out some good at bats. Nothing big, no bombs, nothing crazy, but they ground out some hits, laid down some bunts, and got themselves into a lead. So it was pretty good. Mark Perez, outfielder for Alvin, you can see here, drives a double in the gap to put Alvin on top early. And then we got Joseph Binder here also, outfielder for Alvin. They're playing defense. We talked about playing defense, and he makes this diving catch with the bases loaded, which would have brought in a couple runs. And so another nice play by them. Right, exactly. So now Alvin's up, put a nothing on him, and they're just playing good baseball. Then Blinn brought in another big, strong right-handed guy, Blaine Zeppelin, who was throwing real good, 88-91. Another good, movement on his fastball, a good slider guy. Blinn has some arms, man. They're, see, these guys, Blinn I think has had the ability to come back all year. They got Tanner Reeves, who I was really impressed of at the plate. He's got a great approach to hitting. Got real good hands, quick hands. It's hard to get the ball in on him and stuff.
Wow.
Keeps his hands inside the ball, and really, ball jumps off his bat. Nice, easy swing also. He's one of their top hitters, and he also is their top guy on the mound too. He didn't pitch. Here's a guy who could swing the bat and help him on the mound. So, real
Tawny.
good
All
stuff.
right. All right.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. It's kind of like him, the kid's athletic and stuff. So it's good. Then Cam Wheeler for Blinn kind of just broke it back open and kind of tied the game up. He had an absolute bomb over the scoreboard. I mean, it was ridiculous. That ball left the ballpark. As you can see it sailing off into the night here over the scoreboard in left field. And, that was some kind of hit. And that tied the game up at 6-6. And it kind of went back and forth and stuff. But, another guy I was really impressed with from a prospect standpoint and tools-wise was Ian Collier, the catcher for Blinn. I mean, you see right here as he jumps out on this bunt, it's almost halfway to the pitcher, and he comes out of his stance back there behind the plate and jumps on it and then throws a bullet to first base here and just shows that plus arm. Just a beautiful play right here. Athletic and, like I said, strong arm. He also is showing in this play right here, his athleticism behind the plate, blocking balls and, saving runs behind the plate. So it's, he's a pretty good looking prospect. I hope some people have their eyes on him. I mean, I think this kid definitely got pro material written all over him for down the road somewhere. So,
good to see. I love those catchers.
I know you do. Those hard-nosed guys with the tools too.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
So Blinn ends up going up 7-6. And then Albin comes back and manufactures another couple runs. Yeah, here on this perfectly executed squeeze play to go back up 8-7. And then Albin just, it just was a game that went back and forth. And, like I said, the enthusiasm for both teams was unbelievable.
So it feels like Albin's very scrappy, a contact. They make a lot of things happen by just putting the ball in play. And then Blinn shows up. They got some big boppers, and they do damage.
Yeah, they can, and it's just a battle of wills. I mean, who would end up being on top, and Alvin ended up being on top this night. Their pen took the rest of the game over. Regan Weiblinger right here shows a good slider. He was 89-90, and then here another pitcher close it down. Mark Lopez closes it down by retiring 4 straight Blinn hitters, and he shows a nice late slider here, and just good looking kid. And these guys competed. I mean, both sides competed. It was just a great game back and forth. Very fun to watch, and those guys are going to meet each other again, so it's going to be interesting.
So have they, for your money, are they're every bit the challenge that San Jac is? So
yeah. Yeah, I could see both these teams challenging San Jac. I mean, that's what it's been for years. I mean, they're always challenging them, but Blinn definitely has the talent to do it, and Alvin definitely does too. I mean, they just got some guys who know how to play the game. I mean, it's just fun to watch these kids play as hard as they do. So,
well, we know that Alvin has a lot of pride with the Alvin Express and Nolan Ryan's legacy down there. So I'm always pulling for them, and I love the setting up there at Brennan, and Blinn's been a good program for several years as well. So I'm happy to hear about good Texas baseball.
Yeah, and we have more good Texas baseball as we head up north.
Over to Dallas from there. Is that right?
Yeah, and all year we've tried to give everybody the buzz of junior college baseball, but I don't know if you can hear the buzzing right now, Lou, because I got myself an Eastfield Harvester Bees hat. My hat right here at the game. Got it from them. They're passing them out, and I got a chance. I actually got one for you here too, Lou.
Oh,
So,
nice.
I'm going to have to send it to you and
It's
stuff. So
great.
we were talking about getting our hats, so we got our hats now.
That's
So
our first. That's our first swag. A harvester bee. So
harvester bees. Yeah, that's right. Can you
that,
hear them buzzing right now?
I
There you
hear them
go.
buzzing.
There you go.
Bzz, bzz,
A
bzz.
lot of
What's
fun.
that
A lot
buzz?
of fun.
In
It was a great game.
Eastfield.
They had, in Eastfield, they had a beautiful complex. They had this nice turf field. They got good facilities, and this is Division III, but I mean these schools come well equipped,
Yeah.
definitely. And they had a great battle themselves. It was a heck of a game. It was at Eastfield and stuff, and like I said, nice baseball complex. Eastfield has some pretty good talent, though. I mean, I
Oh,
can see
good.
where they're ranked number 2, and they would probably make a good case for number 1, and I'm sure they're probably have a good chance of ending up being at the World Series again
Okay.
this year too. So they got a really good club. Steven Pena, left-handed pitcher right here. Eastfield, tough as nails. 88 to 90 fastball plus life. Just a good breaking ball, great changeup. He's just got that classic lefty stuff to him. Everything's
Nice.
moving, everything's coming, and the ball gets on you pretty quick. And he tried to keep North Lake under control here for the start of the game. But North Lake, they were scrappy too. They were grinding some hits out and playing good defense. We talked about the theme of playing great defense. Here's Tyler Yancey, shortstop for North Lake, who goes in a hole and throws off balance to first base. And
Nice play.
this was with 2 outs, but great play, great body control here. But here's they had the bases loaded. I mean, they're scoring runs. Eastfield, if he doesn't make this play, but he does make this play, and not to be outdone on the other side of things, we had Hunter O'Shea, shortstop for Eastfield. He was just steady Eddie. I mean, this guy, everything hit to him, he just scooped up and made plays on. I think they turned 3 or 4 double plays early in the game. It was
Oh, that's great.
real nice to see the glove work that they got from him. And
Hunter O'Shea is it? It's Hunter O'Shea playing there at shortstop.
That's right. That's right. He's not Irish, is he?
No.
So anyway, he ended up getting a nice hit later on too. Hunter O'Shea did get Eastfield on the board. And then North Lake just kept scraping together some runs. I mean, they scored on a double steal, and they were just grinding out at bats for Pena. They weren't like hammering them or nothing, but they just got clutch hits at the right time, made some good base running plays, and went up 5-2. And it stayed that way for a while until big old Jaden Morgan steps in, and Jaden Morgan hit an absolute bomb right here. Oh, big left-handed hitter, took that pitch, and he just hammered it over the right field wall inside the foul pole there. The bomb ended up tying the game at 5-5. Peyton Poole, another catcher for Eastfield, hits opposite field homer to put them up. And then, it was all Eastfield from that point on. Gus Witt right here had a couple RBI hits, hits a nice line drive here, and then shows a great piece of hitting right here, takes that breaking ball, waits on it, and takes it the opposite field to drive in another run too. And,
goes the other way, yeah.
Yeah, and then you got Angel Rodriguez right here ripping a ball up the middle. I mean, between Witt and Rodriguez, 3 and 4 hitters, man, this is some real pop in the lineup. I mean, it's just these two guys can really swing the bat, so it's pretty dangerous when you get through their 3, 4, 5 hitters. It's pretty impressive, and the Harvester Bees ended up just pulling away at the end. They won 13-5, and North Lake, like I said, was scrappy, but they were just overwhelmed with Eastfield just got a lot of talent, a lot of guys who could swing the bat. So
you feel like Eastfield's got some pitching, Tad, that'll keep them competitive all year?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, and I think they got some big guys that'll help them win big games and regionals, and hopefully they go to the World Series again.
That's
And
exciting, dude. That's Division 3. You saw a great
yeah,
Division 3 game and some really good players. I mean,
oh yeah,
come on. That, you
yeah,
know,
it was impressive. I was really enjoyed watching that game. The kids played hard, and like I said, they battled and made plays.
I
I
mean,
loved
that's a big
watching.
league. That's a big league moonshot in the upper tank. Jaden Morgan hits.
Jaden Morgan, he scorched that ball. It was a no brainer right away, right. Like, no doubt, or just kind of jumped off his bat, and he go, "Oh man, that thing's going pretty far." So, pretty impressive.
So you
So,
see a good game, you get back to the hotel, and guess what? The next day you're on the road again, like Willie Nelson.
right, exactly. And this time I went to East Texas, Carthage, Texas,
Yeah,
over to Panola, and another nice complex. I mean, these junior colleges have impressive fields and facilities. I mean,
yeah,
it's just beautiful to watch the games at these places. It's unbelievable. And so I get to go see what all the noise about LSU Eunice is all about. And they're the
yay,
number one ranked team, Division II, and rightfully so. I mean, they lived up to their billing. They're 34-0 right now. I mean, it just on a huge run, and just you can see why. I mean, they just have that swagger about them. They just
yeah,
walk in the ballpark, and they expect to win all the
I
time.
got it.
Nothing less. And that's kind of how this game went. I mean, the Panola jumps on him early. Hazel Cruz right here singles to left field, drives in a couple runs, and next thing you know is Panola's up 2-0. They scraped across another run and they're up 3-0. Plus, they got Nathan Love out there for Panola, right-handed pitcher, and this is the way young pitchers, you gotta attack those good hitters and those good teams. You can't start dinking around with them and trying to pitch too careful, or eventually they'll just eat you up. But
They'll
this
find a
guy
way.
went right after LSU Eunice, 88-91 with plus life on his fastball, and he was just challenging guys and making pitches through a real sharp, quick slider. Had them on their heels for the first 3 innings, and threw shutout ball and just handled things. Went through. I don't think he let up a guy on base, but I think he had either a pitch count or something was going on, so they took him out after 3 innings. But
Whoops. Yeah,
he was impressive, and like I said, for the young pitchers out there, when you're going up against a good club, bring your A game, man.
yeah.
Don't start twiddling around and trying to pick at things, and it just is going to show tentativeness, and good clubs like this will just eat you up if you show that you're tentative. So anyway, good on Nathan Love though for having a great first 3 innings here. And then Connor Bangy for LSU Eunice, he had good stuff too. He was 88-91 with good life, a good slider, real aggressive. As you can see right here, he's just coming right after people and just trying to.
Yeah.
He's just putting it up there, and he's saying, "Hey, try to hit me." You know what I mean? He was super aggressive. Threw a great game and kept them in the game till they had time to come back, and they did come back. He kept them in the game long enough. Another lesson for you pitchers. Yeah, you're upset that they score off you a little bit, but you got to keep things in check. So give yourself a chance, your team a chance to come back, and he did. And in the 6th inning, the 9th hitter in the lineup. Oh, everybody's dangerous in LSU Eunice lineup. 9th hitter Bennett Clement leads off with a homer over left center field wall, and he got it going. That was the bell. The bell rang, and here comes Eunice. And then it wasn't easy. They had to earn it. They basically manufactured 3 runs off of Panola after that. I mean, you got Zach Thomas, the 3 hitter for LSU Eunice, who just a monster. I mean, he's a strong kid who really swings the bat. He hammers a ball here with the bases loaded that Hazel Cruz, the center fielder Panola, made a diving catch on, or could have been more damage. It turned into a sacrifice fly, but
Yeah. He
it could have
saved
been
some runs.
worse.
Yeah, he saved some
Yeah,
runs.
Yeah, so now it's 3-2, and then there's a infield hit with a runner on second base, and then Alex Saunier, who was on second base, comes all the way around from second base on an infield hit with aggressive base runner. It was a really bang playing at the plate, as you can see here, but he ends up scoring and tying the game, and then they went ahead 4-3 there in the sixth inning, and then basically Panola had no chance against Josh Gregor, who right-handed pitcher for LSU, struck out the side in the seventh inning, just using a nasty curveball, as you can see right here. I mean, that thing breaking a ton and spinning and diving down, and it's hard to see too. His fastball's up to 92, which probably looked even harder if you're looking for that curveball. But he had a nasty curveball, one of the best I've seen all.
Could he throw it for strikes, Tad?
Absolutely,
really,
absolutely.
So are we talking about like a 12-6 type of curveball?
12-6 type curveball that he could throw for strikes, and and like I said, he gets ahead, and like you saw in this highlight right here, is he could get out of the zone if he needs to, and just make him chase, once he gets ahead and stuff, but. He was real dirty. I mean, if you got this guy closing out games for you, you're no wonder you're 34-0. I mean, this guy was
34-0.
Real impressive. So good stuff. So it was great to see them. I mean, we had talked about them on the show all the time, and now we saw them in person, and
they're as good as any team you've seen, I'm sure. And you're not 34-0 without coming back in the fifth, sixth, seventh inning,
But I love it. Those good teams, man, they just have that swagger. I love it.
Well, like you say, they walk onto the field. They know that, hey, we're going to win today. We're going to beat you.
Right, and you're going to have to do your darndest to try to knock us off, because we're going to be good. So
that's great.
Good stuff.
You've seen a lot of good games up to this point. These are actually, not really too many blowouts at all.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, feisty. I mean, everybody. I mean, it's this time of year. You're in conference. You're playing tough teams. There's no easy games now. I mean,
they all mean something.
You got to get after it. Yeah, they all mean something. You're getting after it, and then I decided I better get back home before the wife changes the locks and stuff. So, I head back up to the Midwest, close to home, and.
But
pick up another great game.
You're not done yet.
Not done yet. And so I end up pick up a game, a real good game, against two conference rivals, two regional rivals, two real good quality ranked teams at the Division II level, and that's Lincoln Land Loggers and the Heartland Hawks. So they were playing at the old Corn Crib. So
nice.
Corn Crib is a great place in Normal, Illinois there. And the weather was actually pretty good. So it was sunny, a good day to see the game. And who do I see walking out to the mound again for Heartland is our guy, Meade Johnson. Whew.
Big old Meade.
Big old Meade is a horse. I mean, he's just a strong kid who comes after you with all his best stuff. I mean, he was in total control again in this game. Pitched 5 shutout innings. I don't remember how many hits, maybe 1 or 2 hits, and just striking everybody out, and no walks hardly at all either. I mean, there's a guy again with high strikeouts, low walks, and no wonder he's having success. He's got that late tailing fastball and that good slider. I mean, he just comes after you in the zone. He's not messing around too much.
Right.
He just got that stuff that plays in the zone. And, just another story for the young pitchers out there. Again, you got to be able to win in the strike zone. Can't be winning outside the strike zone.
Yeah, he comes at you.
Hitters are on their heels. Next thing you know, it's 0-2, 0-1, 0-2. You know what I mean?
So, Tad, you've seen him twice in the course of, I'd say, a month's time. Anything different? Delivery's all the same, real consistent?
Everything is just consistent, and I think he's even better than he was earlier. I think he's making all his pitches now, at least on this day he did.
Yeah,
and,
well, that's what you want to see.
A little bit early on, he was maybe a little bit off kilter, but nothing bad. But but he was really on fire here, making all his pitches. And when you throw like that and have that kind of starter going on for you, you don't need to score many runs. But Heartland did. Galleon Coupe, the second baseman for Heartland, comes up with a single right here up the middle and drives in 2 runs and makes it 2-0. That's basically all Johnson needed. Corey Boyette right here, who's really swinging the bat real good for them. Hammered the double over the right fielder's head and puts them up 4-0. So it just.
So here's two guys, Coupe and Boyette. That sounds like they should both be on the LSU Unis squad. They got that French Cajun names. Come on.
And then if you get Louis Philippe Langevin from over at the Wabash Valley, who's actually is going down to Cajun country. He's going to the University of Louisiana, so that's right up his alley. But these guys. These guys are players, they got Jacek Euling in center field too, and then they got the stars, I'm not even mentioning their stars, with, Bobby Atkinson and Ben Hartle and Sam Antonacci, Antonacci.
Yeah, we like him. Yeah.
He just wins no matter what he's doing. If he's not hitting a ton, he's making great plays for you defensively and stuff.
Yeah.
And same with Hartle too behind the plate, and
I'm going to put you on the spot with Antonacci and Thiel.
To me, it's Antonacci's overall the better player because I think he's got a better bat. Defensively, they're pretty comparable. I maybe like Thiel a hair, if any.
Okay.
But, Antonacci's got the tool soon.
Yeah, you've seen Thiel really good. And
I've seen Antonacci make some great plays too. So
you have, yeah. I've
so that was a good comparison though, right there. Those are 2 good players.
You're lucky you get to see that, and we're lucky that you get to see it to let us know how it goes. For 4-year schools looking and pro scouts,
Right. And I think, both of those guys, Thiel and Antonacci, Antonacci's going to Coastal Carolina and Thiel's going to Purdue. So they got next stops written all over them. But I think both those guys got definitely the glove and the bats to play at the higher level of pro ball someday. So, they'll get their turn if they keep working hard like they both of them do. I think they're both going to get a chance at pro ball someday.
That's exciting. I'd like to be with them this summer on whatever summer league they have and with bats.
Yeah, it's interesting. And everybody's got a different approach now in the summer too. Some guys just go to work out and play a little bit, and then other guys go to play a full season and just get more experience at bats, because hitting's a lot of experience. You got to see a lot of stuff to be
just reps. Yeah, that's the truth.
Be a good quality hitter.
What about Jack Sciolano at the end of this game? He closes it out.
I like Jack Sciolano. Yeah. He's a no nonsense guy either. Him and Meade Johnson. There's no messing around. They're coming after you. Solano's, up to 90, and then with lefty, great life. Here's a lefty who just throws fastballs in the zone that move, and he's just got a live arm, and he's got a good slider, late breaking slider to go with it, and you see his good stuff here, and he was a good, Meade Johnson for 5, Jack Solano for 4, and you got yourself a shutout.
That's a W.
Hawks. Yeah, Hawks end up winning 6-0.
That's fantastic. Well, you saw them play as good as they can.
They'll contend. And then you got Madison and you got Pearl River. They're as good as LSU Unis is playing now, any given day, man. So
I know, but 34 in a row. Well, let's keep our eye out.
It's impressive.
Very impressive.
And like I said.
But is your road trip, Tad. 5,000 miles. You saw, you saw several games for the top-ranked teams, top-ranked players. They all played well for you. You got to see some incredible ballparks, the fans, the support. You got to talk to some of your friends who were the coaches.
Got a hat.
Yeah, you got some swag. I'm guessing you got some good food. You got a brand new tire. You made friends
Yeah,
with Bridgestone. They're going to throw in for our
yeah,
podcast.
right, right,
So
exactly.
it's just all an
But I
all
did get the
around.
Papados.
Papados is the best.
I did get the Papados. I had to have their shrimp and crab fondue, man.
That's
It was Friday, so I had to dip in on that with the garlic bread and everything. Ooh,
that's a beautiful thing. That's
that is a
a
beautiful
beautiful
thing.
thing. For those of you that get a chance to go to Texas, and you can do a Papados, you can do a Papacitos or a Papa's hamburger. And so I would say it's good to be home, Tad. And you and I
Yeah,
were going to work this morning, but guess what you did? You went out to see a baseball game.
yep. Saw Lake County and Morton play today, so we'll have a little recap on them on next week's podcast. But it was good to see more baseball, and got it in today before the wet weather came. It's supposed to rain and stuff the next 24 hours here, so it's
Well, that's fantastic, Tad.
catch up on some paperwork.
I'm
So
so happy you got out. We're so happy that you're seeing games for us and recapping the games, the talent, the ballparks, the road. It's very romantic in its own way, and
yeah,
you're bringing it to us live and recapping it. So thanks for inviting me on that.
yeah, saw a lot of great baseball, a lot of great players, and had a lot of fun. So
You
it's all good.
you were jamming, my friend.
I was definitely JUCO jamming. There's no doubt about it.
You were JUCO
And I
jamming.
had to keep me awake on those long runs. I had to be jamming.
Man, and
So
look, I've ridden with you for years. So when you drive, you jam, believe me. So anyone that's
yeah,
wondering how you Tad doesn't conserve on gas. He's gonna get there.
yeah. My wife says, "Slow down, slow down." So.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot. I mean, we got a lot to talk about. A ton of players to talk about and break down players. We're going to start talking some draft talk. We're going to be talking about some postseason talk coming up here. What teams are ready to play in postseason? Which players are playing well? So we're going to have a lot to talk about here on the JUCO Jam podcast. And I'm glad you're always along for the ride. I kind of wish you were in the car with me, that I could have someone to talk to. Thank God for those phone calls. So
we should do the podcast from the front seat next time.
front seat, yeah, get it going live. So it'll be interesting. So I got my Harvester Bees on, and I got my jam on, and thanks for joining us, and Lou, and then all you baseball fans out there, I hope you enjoyed the podcast tonight, and we look forward to talking to you again on the JUCO Jam.
You've been listening to JUCO Jam. For all your junior college needs, go to dreambigathletics.com and make sure to tune in to next week's episode of JUCO Jam.